Hello and welcome to Dharma with Kai. I'm your host, Kylie, and this podcast is E-Verified. The stories that I share with you during my cast from my clients are not sharing any identifiable or confidential information. I'm also going to share some of my experience throughout the podcast series. The purpose of Dharma is not to collect anything from anyone, only to share with you some valuable experience throughout my podcast. We discuss happiness, health, healing, and the dynamics of relationships, diverse experiences, and how to reach the ultimate satisfaction in life. Today's episode is the pillars of defeating narcissistic relationships and anything toxic in your life. It is important that I did have an opportunity to do some work outside of work on my own, which led me to create Dharma with Kai. As a practitioner, I have to reflect on my own practices, and it is important to share with you the impacts of trauma that cause an unrest for determining an individual's outcomes and recommendations appropriate to heal. The 5 pillars of healing from these narcissistic relationships are prayer, protection, presence, perseverance, and patience. So when I say prayer, I'm not talking about in a spiritual or a congregation realm. I am talking about just prayer, and that can come out as a form of affirmations, whatever works for you. It's just acknowledging the good, bad, ugly, and hopes in your life and your dreams and aspirations. Protection. You are going to want to protect your way in your life so closely, unlike ever before. So when I say protection, that doesn't mean as in, call and try to get like restraining orders or try to get a group of people to always like reside with you in case the person that you're trying to get away from comes to approach you. That's not what I mean in protection. Protection means gearing yourself up for whatever may come your way. And that is being able to listen and have an internal radar for the red flags that you may encounter when going through this. A lot of this makes sense, especially if you're using your common sense and not the sense of others or the advice that you get off of the World Wide Web or trying to portray yourself as something that you're not. So making discerned decisions throughout this time is important. Gearing up, protection, whether that is weather-wise, safety-wise, health-wise, anything that you need to do that would make you feel safe is what is needed in terms of protection. Presence. The fact of being present is ever most important when healing through narcissistic relationships, because a lot of the narcissists that you have encountered in your life have unfortunately gone through the crime system. And with that being said, they're always going to work around and have the capacity to try to get you from healing and reaching your true success in self. And so you're going to want to work on some grounding techniques as well as having the ability to refrain from going through your memories on your phone or going to your feed on your social media to try to, distract yourself. Mirroring is a technique that we often teach in therapy. However, you're going to want to mirror yourself, how you would approach narcissistic people, how you're going to approach people that had no idea of any treacherous encounters occurring in your personal life or in private. So you're going to want to practice in real time often how to stay in the present moment. And there's so many individuals that do not know how to do this in today's ever so rapid world. However, that is what silences the internal freeze or flee in our neuroprocessing throughout this healing. Perseverance is the continued effort to do or achieve something. So never giving up on yourself. You're going to face difficulties. You're going to fail at some things, and you're going to also face opposition from others who are not able to make sense of the abrupt need for you to change course in your life. And you have no explaining to do to them anymore. You know what's best for you, and you know that you need to heal. And if other people that have encountered worse situations than you have are able to take that time for themselves, you need to extend that same common courtesy to you so that you're able to heal and not get caught on the wrong side of these narcissistic relationships that could lead you to death, committing a crime, or never, ever reaching a prognosis or diagnosis of completely healed. Patience. And there is no way to work through this with others, especially in narcissistic relationships, because narcissists are so loud and everything in our world is loud anyhow. So you're going to want to work through this alone and have discernment when choosing your therapies, remedies, or other practices that you utilize during this time. The most obsolete or invalid work is counting on someone to have the appropriate tools or discretion to have all of your concerns addressed and not spun around on you. You're going to encounter even discouraging moments in your healing. However, getting through this alone is far more better than having endless narcissistic love bombing relationships. And the more experiences that you do have, it's easier to disrupt the cycles. And you're going to also end up leaving sooner if you ever have a relationship with someone that has these narcissistic or toxic traits. Let this devastation and grief concur as the final extensive amount of time you ever welcome destruction into your atmosphere. Everyone idealizes a prophetic life. However, you have to acknowledge the pain, whether it's physical, emotional, or spiritual. There are no accurate predictions of the future. The only proactive thing you can successfully accomplish is customizing a plan to heal appropriately for yourself. And that takes time that those who are toxic and damaging are never willing to take accountability for. Don't forget the 5 pillars of healing: prayer, protection, presence, perseverance, and patience. Working on incorporating and customizing a framework of these pillars to support your plan to healing is amazing. I want to thank you so much for listening to Dharma with Kai. Until next time, protect your peace and adios.